to the One Player Podcast, the show on solitaire board games. I'm Albert, and this is episode 389.
Beep, beep, beep. It's a Jeep.
Hi, Julius. That caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that at all.
Hello, Albert. How you doing today?
Hey, Julius. I'm doing great. I I had no idea what you're gonna say, and that's not what I expected. I guess.
Not ready for beep, beep. It's a Jeep.
No, I was not at all ready for that.
But there's Jeeps. They're very cute Jeeps.
Are
I
there
like
Jeeps?
the Jeeps.
Okay. I like Jeeps. I used to
I
have a
assume
Jeep.
they're Jeeps. There's some sort of... Oh, no, they're explicitly called Jeeps. They're not trucks. They're Jeeps.
Oh, okay. I used to drive a Jeep when I lived in San Francisco. It was the best. Oh man, I love that car.
Oh, well then maybe you can drive a Jeep in today's game, Habitats.
Nice. Okay, let's do it. So tell
Awesome.
me about this game. I've never heard of this game, and I'm looking at the picture of a lion on the front cover with feathers and it's really funky looking. Really nice picture.
Habitats is perhaps a little bit more of a... we're going to talk about the theming of it, but the idea of it is that you are trying to build a wildlife preserve, I guess. Yeah, you are pulling tiles from a bag to build wildlife reserves, similar to the other games like Cascadia, where you're actually building the landscape, with the goal of maximizing your points by having stuff lining up correctly across your landscape. There's a central board with some jeeps where you're moving jeeps around to be able to collect stuff and do the most stuff before the game ends.
Okay. So it sounds kind of simple enough.
It is. The rulebook is 4 pages long.
Okay. Yeah, I see the Jeeps. Those are really nice Jeeps. Let's talk about the components, Jeep.
Sure, I'd love to. So, talking about the components. First thing I'm going to talk about is the tiles. There is a whole pile of tiles, 134 according to the rulebook. A whole pile of tiles, and your idea is that you're going to be shuffling all those up and mixing them into a big old bag, and so the bag is being provided. I will say, I don't think that's a very big old bag myself, and I never use the bag. But the idea is that you're supposed to mix everything up and put it in the big old bag, and then you're going to be drawing tiles from the bag to make a grid. And the size of the grid depends upon the players in the game. Each time you're playing, the game actually has different a center goal token. I'm not quite sure what you call it, but there's a big old vertical line token thing where you put goals on the game, and also has on the top a vehicle layout icon description that shows how it is that you lay out the board. So where you start the board is based on this grid. So the grid is like 4x4, whatever size it is, and the jeeps will take up various places in that. So you've got that goal tile with the various goals that you're collecting. You've got the tiles that are now laid on that grid with some jeeps around it, and everyone starts with a starting tile, the tile that starts off their preserve. The jeeps move around that board and you go and take them. The only other component that is included in the game is a turn tracker that lists out who is first player. And every time it comes around that first player, they're expected to move the turn tracker down it, and that'll track how long you have per round. You'll have 3 rounds of the game based on a turn tracker, and you keep going until all 3 rounds are done, and then you will do a final scoring. I've almost summarized between components and the gameplay both things at once. But we're still in components, so let me talk about some of the components.
You didn't mention that it has a dry erase marker.
I didn't, and it also has a whole scoreboard to help you keep track.
Okay.
Scoreboard, very nice. I tend not to use it either because I'm playing on Shabbos when I don't write, or because I'm playing during the rest of the week and I use something digital so that I don't have to do math. So I find it funny that I never write anymore for various different reasons.
You're going to lose your handwriting.
Oh, I've already done that. But it is there, and at the very least, it makes a convenient way of letting everyone know where it is that you can score points from. So there is that board. In terms of the tiles all have this bright art of the different types of elements, whatever it's flowers or blank spaces or cameras to show that it scores in different ways. The vast majority of them are flowers and animals and butterflies. And all of those are very vibrant. All of them are very clear on what they are. There is a set of icons across the bottom that show the amount of points you can score and how it is that you score them, because almost everything has to be connected to something else to score
Mm.
points. So all those icons are very clear. So it's very easy to look at the tiles and understand how things work. So a lot of points for that iconography. The game includes a set of tokens that are very handy checkmark tokens that each, as mentioned, each tile has a certain amount of things you have to do to make it score. When you finish something, you can put a checkmark token on it. It has no gameplay effect other than it helps remind you, I did this one already. Stop thinking about it. Don't look at it again because it's just going to confuse you. That is very helpful to be able to see because that helps you stop thinking about it. You don't keep going in loops like, oh, I need to do this. No, I got this one. I'm so happy that they included those checkmark tiles. Very valuable.
That's really cool. Yeah, there's so many games where I wish that existed. It never occurred to me that I wish. Now that I learned about it, that is nice.
I have copied that same type of thing over to various other games and use similar type mechanics for various other things. So it is very handy just to sort of like lock off like this one's done over here.
Yeah.
The game includes, as we mentioned a couple times, Jeep meeples. The Jeep meeples are thick, chunky meeples. They feel Jeepy. They are the player meeples that move around the board trying to collect things. They're nice meeples. They're very chunky. They feel really good in hand.
Okay. Yeah, they look nice. There is no blue one, which is sad, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And there is the turn tracker, the turn marker, and I almost never use them for reasons I'll get to in gameplay.
Okay. Is that it then?
Oh,
Are we ready to move on?
well, one other thing. So you're supposed to put all the tiles in the bag. I did mention the bag isn't very big, but also I almost never use it for reasons I'll get to in gameplay.
Okay. When you say it's not very big, does your hand fit in it? I know you've said that in the past. Your hand's kind of big, so is it
It
just
is big enough for my bag, but the problem is there's 134 tiles. I
so
cannot
it's really
underemphasize
small?
that there's 134 tiles. It's a lot of tiles.
Yeah.
So generally we shuffle all of our tiles the last time. We put them in stacks back in the box as a paper crafted set of rows to store stuff. And that's how we store it.
Okay. All right. So okay. I again, it looks really nice. I like the components.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fun. So I'm ready to hear more.
Well, let's talk about the gameplay because the gameplay is dead simple. Uh, each person's player board, the little Jeep, that one token, has
Mhm.
listed the 4 steps that you do for your turn: take, drive, draw, place. You first have your Jeep. You have 3 spaces, ideally in front of you. You have space right in front of you, right to your right, and right to your left, oriented from your Jeep. You can take any one of those 3. If you have to jump over another player's Jeep, you can jump over them, so Jeeps don't block you. The end of the board does block you. So you take one of those 3 tiles. You then drive. You Once you've taken that, your Jeep drives into that space, turning if necessary. You will then draw from the stack of tiles or from the bag of tiles and place it on the spot that your Jeep just vacated, giving someone else an opportunity to go next. And then you will place the tile that you took on your board. When you're placing it, you're trying to match whatever method of scoring it is that they use. The vast majority of all of the tiles are animals. Animals will typically, well, first of all, every tile has a background to it, and it's one of the 4 different types of environments. There's the blue, the orange, green, whatever it is. Grassland, water, forest, and desert. So it has a background for it. Most of the time with the animals want to connect to those different type of things. So for example, one of the animals may want to be next to 2 reds and 2 greens. So it wants to be next to either 2 individual reds or a block of reds that is too large, and similar for the greens, either 2 individual greens or a block of greens that's too large, and same thing for all the other number combinations. So it wants to be next to those. As soon as it's next to those, it's going to score points for being in the habitat that it wants. Other different things will do other different things. For example, there's some watchtowers. Watchtowers have printed on them which tiles it is that it wants to care about. Everything in the spot that it cares about that has scored, you get a point for. So, for instance, it may want everything all around it, it scores. The butterflies, the flowers, they just score straight a point. Gates score points only if they're at a spot with nothing else in the right spots. Camps only score if everything in the right spots is filled, so if there's just anything there. There are tourists, which are the camera, which tell you score points for every specific terrain, either in a group or on the board, or whatever it is. And they all just list right on them what all it is that they do. So you're taking those and placing them on your board to make a big terrain to try and do what it is that you want to make it all turn out and give you enough points at whatever point it is that does. When you're playing multiplayer, at a certain number of turns, you'll then score goals. There'll be 2 goals every round. First place gets another points. Last place usually doesn't get any points. Other people in between based on the player count. Everyone's scoring those points. Everyone's doing their thing. When you're playing solo, there are no goals. Instead, you just have a certain number of turns, 25 turns, and the goal tracker thing is just very short to show that in solo there's no goals. So you just have 25 turns. Otherwise, it's 8 turns. I'm commenting now about why it is that I don't use the bag. I personally find that whenever you're having to track turns, it is very easy to start focusing on the game itself and not tracking turns. So I find very easy, if it comes around to my turn and you have to just mark down a thing to say I've had a turn, it's very, very easy to forget about that. So instead, what I do is year 1, for example, is supposed to be 8 turns. I will deal 8 tiles to everyone because every turn you place a new tile. So I will deal 8 tiles to everyone, and that'll show how many turns as they have. So when you're out of tiles, that is the end of year 1. Similarly with solo, I will deal myself 25 tiles because I'll know that after those 25 tiles, my game is done. It is much easier for me to remember placing the tiles than it is having to remember to mark down that. And I wish more games didn't require me to have to remember to place those tiles. In fact, generally, if there's something that I think is going to be that sort of upkeep, I tend to just move on because it's very difficult. But when it's actually part of your turn, it's like a crucial component to set something up. It is so much easier to remember. So I don't know why they didn't just set it up that way just to begin with. But
yeah, so you're drawing the tiles and just laying them face down in front of you, I guess, right? And then flipping them over one at a time or something like that.
Yeah, I just give myself a stack of face down tiles. So 25 face down tiles when I'm playing solo, and then one at a time. Every time I go, I place another one out.
And I mean, I can imagine some people who don't like that because you're taking their choice away from them by drawing the tiles and giving them to them. It doesn't matter because it's random,
drawn from a bag.
I know.
And you also don't get the tiles that you're putting out. Those are going to the next player. They end up right behind you.
Oh, okay.
So the tile that you're drawing is going to the next player.
That's right, because it's getting put on the board, and then you're getting the tile from the board. So then the tile from your stack is getting placed on the board after you take yours off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see people not carried or noticing. I could see where somebody would not like it, where like, oh, that was, I should have drawn the tile. Like, it was going to be my choice, and you drew the wrong one for me, so it's your fault. I could see, especially kids, But in this game, I could see where that doesn't matter because it's not affecting me; it's affecting you, right? So that's interesting. But either way, I like your method. I like when a game has a nice, simple way to remember the turn that is part of the game versus like the random take something out of the bag that has no real in-game effect. So yeah, kudos.
Yeah, so I much prefer it that way, and that's just the one change I made. So that avoids the bag, that avoids the turn tracker. At that point in time, you just maybe want to put the first player marker by the first player so everyone can see, but it makes them entirely unnecessary. So they generally just sit over in my box. Commenting more on the gameplay itself, trying to arrange for that puzzle. A lot of the times puzzle games are just delicious to me. I like the puzzle that is coming from this. It can be very frustrating because each time you put on another one, it is both creating a new puzzle but also solving the puzzles you had before. So especially as the game builds and builds and builds, you have like 20, like at the end of the game, you have 25 puzzles sitting in front of you. How it is that you're going to handle all of them, which ones that you want to have, is it worth prioritizing scoring the stuff I already have on my board and maybe sacrificing not scoring the stuff I'm taking, or should I try and score the stuff I'm taking, or should I try and find some sort of balance? Especially in solo, can I look ahead and see if I take this one and then this one and then this one and then come back to this one? Can I work all of these? And it takes a whole lot of thought to be able to put together that puzzle, to be able to solve it and come up with the most points that you can get. Far and away, I'm not necessarily the best at it. I don't claim I'm the best at it. I don't win very often in multiplayer when I'm doing this, but I enjoy it a lot. It looks very pretty on my board, building out this whole thing, making it, especially because you're often encouraged to have groups of things together, so the colors sort of mesh together coherently, and the art style all looks nice. It looks pretty. It looks fun to be able to build that tableau, and it just comes out so well. It everything builds so nicely. Very classic, very good.
That's
The
neat.
simplification
Like
and solo of just being straight out, just take however many turns it is, no goals, no difficulty, means I kind of wish there was a set of solo goals to make it at least a little bit different in terms of what's going on every time. But that would have been a whole separate component just for solo goals. And the goals for multiplayer are already pretty chunky things. Instead, you just have a very simple solo mode, which is just beat your own high score type levels. And that's all it takes. That's all it needs. I would have preferred for it to be a little bit more different on each gameplay, but there's still a whole bunch of different puzzles from all the different tiles. I think that just the different goals from multiplayer adds a little bit more diversity that you don't get fully in the solo game.
Yep.
Which is okay.
I've got one question. The Jeep, you said that the facing of the Jeep matters?
Yes.
So when you take off driving, you can only drive forward or turn sideways. You can't go back, basically.
Yes, cannot go back in the Safari.
That's neat. Okay. But you could turn. Can you turn multiple times in a single movement and end up facing back or something?
Well, each time you move, you're taking that tile. So you either take the tile to your right, left, or
so you're
ahead.
only moving one space.
Yeah, each time you move one space. So I turn to the right and take that tile, and then I can turn and take that tile, and then I can go within a little circle. Like, let's say, especially in solo, this happens all the time. I drop that tile, I'm like, oh, that tile I just dropped would be great, but the only way to get around to take it is to make a little U-ey and go all the way around back to it.
And then you could decide, do I want a U-ey to the between? Yeah. Do I want a U-ey to the left or do I want a U-ey to the right? Because that could also make a difference. Yeah. Okay. I had imagined, for some reason, I thought you drove multiple tiles. And like you started on tile 1 and you stopped 3 tiles away or something. That's okay.
No. Yeah, just the one. One every time. So 25 turns is 25 tiles.
Gotcha. And in the end, you take every tile.
You don't take every tile because there'll be the game in solo starts off with 11 tiles on the board. So theoretically, especially if you're doing the 25 tiles to market, you put down the last tile, and so there's still 11 tiles there that show those are the tiles you didn't pick up over the course of the game. So there'll be 11 tiles in the center and 25 tiles on your board.
Got it. Okay, so the last couple of tiles you place, there's no chance of getting those at all, basically. Like the last 3 tiles or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, yes. I hadn't ever thought of it that way, but yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, technically, it's just the last 3, the last 2, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, but they serve as a placeholder to keep track of the turns. I guess you could just stop with 3 tiles less, but then that would feel weird. It
also means that you can't track your turn. It's so much easier just to do the full
You're right.
take turn drive place every single time. So
No, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Okay.
Yeah, shrug.
This sounds really cool. I'd never heard of this game. I guess it's not a big publisher at all. Who is this from?
Board game tables.
Board Game Tables. Okay. I
All,
don't know what
all
else they've
play
done.
now. All play games. A
Oh,
relatively big publisher.
okay, I've heard of All Play, I think. I don't remember them though. I don't remember Board Game Tables. And the designer is Corny Van Moorsel. Hopefully I pronounce
Yes.
it Corny Van Moorsel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it close to play. Neat. Okay, how long does the game take to play solo? Pretty quick, I imagine.
Yeah, it's
Half an
about
hour,
30
maybe.
minutes. It doesn't take very long.
Okay.
Even for multiplayer, I think multiplayer takes like an hour or so to do the whole thing.
And you said it's only 8 turns for multiplayer, so if it's a two-player game, it's still only 16 turns
No, no,
total.
no. It's 8 turns. I don't know the turn numbers. I have to actually go look for it. It's 8 turns
Okay.
per year. So that's 24 total.
Okay. Per player. So about the
Yeah,
same.
per player. Yeah.
Okay.
And theoretically, then you're just waiting on other players. You could, as with so many multiplayer games, everyone could play much faster if they think about other people's turns, think about their turn on other people's turns. I've never known that to happen.
Yeah, no, well, you know what happens is there's always going to be somebody that's much slower, and everybody's thinking during their turn. And so that just and that and that's okay. That works out because that gave me time to think about my turn. It's not that I was a faster player. It's just I had done all my thinking. During your turn.
Correct. Yes. It does help when people think about those things on other people's turns. It is convenient.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, this is a cool little game, and it is a little game, isn't it? It doesn't look like it's very big. Small
Correct. It's not
box,
that big of a
probably.
game. It's not all play games. Board game tables have their small box category of games. It's not one of their small box categories games. So I think they actually consider it a mid-size. Again, it's got 134 tiles, but it fits very tight in the box. There's no
Mm-hmm.
room for anything else going in there.
Okay, so no expansions for it then. Shame. Neat. I like this type of game. The ones where you're laying the tiles and you score each type of tile based on different rules, and they all work differently. There's a bunch of games like that. Like Between Two Cities, for example, is another one that does that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a back to the table, or I'm sorry, a Puppet Mechanics on that table at some point.
I'm not quite sure how you're going to say what that mechanic is, but I can definitely understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this type of game where you're trying to do your own little personal puzzle is very good. I mentioned already a couple, like Cascadia is one. I'm sure I could very easily just list
Mm-hmm.
a bunch that I enjoy.
And it's not even just a
This is
personal
another one.
puzzle, but it's the way the tiles score differently that I like
Uh-huh.
specifically. Because there's other individual puzzle games that don't do that, but I like that each type of tile scores differently, right? Suburbia is another one that does that, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Spatial coordination puzzle games. I have no idea.
Puppet Mechanics, differently scored tile types. That's
No,
that's a terrible,
I don't know if that's what
name.
it's going to be.
No, but we'll
Well,
get
it's
to it
not a
at some
matter of the
point.
different tile types that's the
For
enjoyment for
me, it
me.
is.
It's the spatial puzzle of having all of those
Yes.
tiles arranging on your board that they all interact based on how you lay them all out.
Yeah, I'm figuring out where to place them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Cascadia also falls in the same place, even though with each individual tile Cascadia is not numbered. You're still building up. You're placing all of those elements to achieve whatever those 5 goals are in the middle for the different animals and trying to achieve the goals for the different habitats. So you're building up all that spatial puzzle. That's what gets it for me.
The special puzzle, yeah. I do like special puzzles too, though, for sure.
Although now I want to talk
Of all
with
kinds.
I want to talk with you about a place for all my books. You'll like that.
Didn't we talk about a place for all my books already?
Did we do a place for all my books?
Yeah, we did a place for all my books. Yes.
Oh,
We had the.
that's another one. We did. That's another one though that again each individual element doesn't have anything specific for it. Every book is a book, but you're arranging all the pieces on your board to fit that space to fill up your card puzzles to be able to figure out where the books list. All of that. That's the gold stuff there. That's the golds.
Yeah. puzzle games are fun. Absolutely, most of them. But cool, Julius.
All right, Albert. It's time for us to go on a safari.
All right, then. Let's do it.
Drive off into
Hop
the
in your
sunset in
Jeeps.
my Jeep. Beep, beep.
Yep.
It's a Jeep.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for listening. We love feedback, so we love hearing from you. You can reach me at julius@oneplayerpodcast.com or JLBird on BGG, and Albert can be reached at albert@oneplayerpodcast.com or Fractalute on BGG. Our website is oneplayerpodcast.com with the number 1, and we're also on Twitter at oneplayerpodcast. The intro music is copyright Angus, can be found at jamendo.com. The transition music is copyright by Dan Elduce Pancaldi, whose page is at donpancaldi.com. The One Player Podcast is protected under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Thanks for listening.